primarily the gallbladder, but a bit of the liver as well. So the gallbladder is a little stack on the underside of the liver. Does everyone know where that is? Okay. Any animal, if that's the one you're targeting, we've always done it. Get some of that gallbladder in there. Not sure why or what, but it really seems to put a little emphasis on the one you want that way. I'll do typically glycerin. I'm kind of a glycerin guy, but you can do antifreeze or whatever. A bunch of the beaver trimmings, just from fleshing, from like doing beavers. Get some fish in there, some trout or whatever, whitefish. Some good cheese, like Lindenberg, or like the really stinky, smells like feet cheese. Some of that in there. And you could do a little bit of beaver oil gland. You could do a little bit of castor separately. I would have two separate mixes, one of oil gland, one of castor. And then just get that filled up to about 2/3 full in the pail and date it. And don't go past 2/3 or they might blow on you, the pail, which is never fun. And then give it 6 years. Yeah. Yeah.
So you just hang that in a tree and put a few little holes in it?
Yep, so you can, I do big buckets that all work for the season, and then I have smaller containers all used for those sites. You only need like a quart. That's all you need is logs for those to be active, right? So you just, and a properly made mix at -40 with the metal spoon, you should be able to kind of shave it all out and put it into a perforated container. At about -15 or warmer, you just scoop it right in like you just.
How much did you leave it, if you made a set up there, how much did you leave it?
About a quart. How long a timeline, or how much mass?
Yeah, how much mass?
About a quart. Just a container like that, perforated, up in the tree, so it breathes.
I know some people just have a plastic 5-gallon bucket, hang it up there, and then just drill a few holes.
Yeah, you can just do buckets. I mean, it's fine. It's just you.
Usually more than you need. Really.
Yes, the rate at which it burns itself out is kind of the same, no matter how much you have up there. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you might get another week or two out of a big bucket, but it's not like that's good for 3 months. And
You're
a little
going to have all the wolves caught in a week or two.
Precisely. Yeah, exactly.
So you put all that
Sometimes.
stuff together and let it marinate for 6 years?
Yeah, and what I'd recommend you do is get a bucket for this year, start a bucket for 6 years. Next year, same thing. Get a bucket for that year, start a bucket for 6 years. Okay? The first 6 years you do that, you're going to be dealing with year-old bait. And then after that, all you're ever doing is making bucket for bait for 6 years from now, and you'll always have a fresh pail ready to go of really beautifully matured stuff. And do not, when you are making that bucket, if there's a single fly, it's ruined. It's no good. That'll just be maggots when you open it. So do it at night, do it cool, do it in the fall, but this cannot be tainted by flies. You don't want this getting broken down, you want it just rendering, that's it.
Could you maybe just freeze it solid first, until any flies, and then take it out and start?
As long as they're dead, but
Yeah.
your average freezing might not kill the egg, and when it thaws in the summer, they'll hatch and then they'll come out.
So are you sealing this bucket
Yeah, put a lid on it.
Yeah.
and it doesn't pop off?
2/3 full, no more
Yeah,
than 2/3
as long as
full.
it's not more than
You
2/3
guys
full.
only take the rubber under the lid of the bucket, eh? And then puts it on, so a little bit of gas can get out of it.
You can, some people break the lid, like they crack the lid.
Yeah?
That, we can do that as well. I try to have them pretty darn sealed up, but the big thing is you you can do tape over a hole, so it kind of like is a one-way valve. But if you don't overfill them, you want to try and get that as mature as possible, because those gases are going to help with the bubbling and the breaking down. It's going to keep rotting, but the key to it is it can't be accessible to the elements that are going to start breaking it down.
Yeah.
Right? You want it to render and render over. The world of lure making is, I mean, we could spend an entire course on that alone, right? And not come to an agreement at the end. So that's one of those things where you just want to play with stuff, have different options out there, but really think through what it is you're offering and try to offer unique things so you've got a few cards to play, right? Exactly. Always taste. Taste. But like, so for example, separating beaver castor from oil gland, right? it's good to incorporate that for beavers because it creates a homogeneous smell, not a bunch of individual smells. So it's a molecule that's really sticky. It pulls everything together, and it makes it a heavy molecule that keeps it low to the forest floor. That's why we use trout, oil, things like that. Those heavy molecules keep those smells lower to the floor while they're traveling along, right? So don't get caught just going heavy molecule. Like, find different things out there that can give you that same bond. So you've got some different, it's like different bottles of wine out there. You want to offer some selection, because what tickles the fancy of one wolf, a different one might not care about. And you'll see, like certain ones, like sourdough. There's a whole line of sourdough lures out there, and literally it's just got that sourdough in it, that soury dough smell, that certain canines just go crazy for. They love it.
So you got your court. How are you leaving it out there? Like at your lure?
Hang it up in a tree,
Hang it.
perforate it, hang it in a tree. Make sure it's high enough up that nothing can grab it with their jaws and just take it away. Yeah, very simple. And like, there's kind of this idea with wolves that when you get out and do your set, you gotta have like 50 or 100 snares every time or all this kind of stuff. You don't need that at all. It can be like 2, 3 traps or a half dozen. Like, you don't even need to get the whole pack every time. You just want to have these nice, tight, refined little clusters that can pick off a few right away. And usually you've got just a few seconds with them and that's it. Like Ken said, 5 or 6 wolves in a sitting, that's rare. If you're heavy on wolves your whole life, you'll have a handful of those moments. That's it, right? The rest of the time it's 1, 2, maybe 3, right? So if that's all you're going to get most of the time, quit wasting your time with 100 traps every site over and over and over. Just have 3 or 4 really good, clean sets that are going to give you those numbers consistently. And then make sure you switch it up. Just try different things. Don't get stuck in a lane, especially with wolves. They're smart. They work together. They remember, and they're timid. They don't mind being like, nah, screw it. I'm not going to bother with this. That's an okay place for them to be.
Timeline for footholds is 48 hours?
On registered lines, if you're
Resident is 24.
on resident, so under resident license it's 24, under registered license it's 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of us are likely going to be doing this on ranch land if you don't have an active trap line. And if you're on ranch land, it's every day, right? So.
Did you like this video? If you did, I think you're gonna like this one right over here. So check it out. And I appreciate your subscribing if you haven't done so already. Remember to do that while you're watching this next video. Click like, it all helps us out for this channel. Catch you next time.